Wide receiver rankings, week 4, presented by IrvinandM.com. Writing this on Wednesday night for Thursday's video. Expect more videos every week for the other unit groupings like running back, quarterback, tight end, and click the playlist for all week 4 rankings and updates. If you're new here, this is where I take industry-leading data, Vegas sportsbooks, and expert analysis to provide you with optimal weekly rankings for the utmost accuracy in setting your weekly lineups. This week, we have 40 wideouts and 90 to 70 yards over, under, or more is the S tier. A tier is the 60s, that's 60 to 70 projected yards. The B tier is the 50s. C is the 40s, that's 50 to 40 yards. And D tier is the rest. It's 40 or less. Let's not waste any more time. S tier. Puka Nacua at 1, 92 over under, 128 yards per game versus the Colts. JSN 84 over under, 108 yards per game at the Cardinals, 30th worst pass defense. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 66 over under, 81 yards per game, 1.3 tutties per game versus Cleveland. Malik Neighbors at 4. He's questionable, 62 over under, 83 yards per game. He scores a tutty 70% of the time, and he faces the Chargers. Justin Jefferson at 5, 76 over under, 68 yards per game at the Steelers, 26th worst. Garrett Wilson at 6, 65 over under, 76 yards per game. He scores the tutty 70% of the time at the Dolphins. 21st worst pass D. And Jamar Chase, 70 over under, 83 yards per game at the Broncos. And Nico Collins, 75 over under, 60 yards per game. He scores a touchdown 70% of the time. He gets the Titans. They're real bad. That's your top 8. They have great matchups. They score touchdowns. They will produce the most fantasy points in week 4. A tier has 8 more elite wide receivers. It's 60 to 70 projected receiving yards. Let's keep it rolling. Ricky Pearsall at 9. Who? 92 yards per game for Ricky Pearsall. Wow. His worst was 6 targets for 56 yards. His over-under set at 66 yards. Wheels up. Ricky Pearsall. Let's go. Next is Adams and Adunze at 10 and 11. Devontae, 65 over-under, 71 yards per game. Rome, 60 over-under, 75 yards per game. And Adams gets the tougher matchup against the Colts, 8th best pass defense, while Adunze faces the Raiders, 24th worst. Adams scores 70% of the time, while Rome gets a tutty 100% of the time. Both their games are the highest and second highest scoring games of the week. So great spot. They're doing great. Zay Flowers at 12, 58 over under, but 81 yards per game. He travels to Kansas this week to face the 10th best pass defense, and it's going to be a close banger. Second highest scoring game of the week, tied for the second. If only he could score more tutties. Next, the rookies. Ted McMillan and Emeka Mbuka at 13 and 14. Tataroa is questionable with a calf injury. He didn't practice today, but his over-under is set at 65. So that's a good indicator. 72 yards per game and a great matchup against the Pats. 29th worst secondary. Emeka Mbuka, 55 over under, 63 yards per game, and a touchdown per game, courtesy of the touchdown maker, Baker. He faces Philly this week. They're pretty good, but they should need him now more than ever. He'll be okay. And at 15 and 16, it's Ladd McConkey and Drizzy Draco. Ladd McConkey, 62 over under, 52 yards per game. He travels to New York this week. New York! Something, man, it's This week to face the Giants. 28th worst. So that's not good. You get the drift. Chargers are undefeated and the Giants are 0-3. For Drake, 65 over under, 53 yards per game. He gets the Commanders at home. They are also not great at 23rd right now. So that's two more great matchups to end the tier with two more talented wideouts. Something about dreams that I'm made of. That's the top 16. The B tier begins with more starters, but you really want your two starting wideouts on the board or next. Kick it off with IrvinandM.com. IrvinandM.com is my company my best friend and I started in 2020. We literally make everything ourselves by hand. We have earrings, rings, necklaces, bracelets, tie clips, apparel, and more. Over a dozen curated gemstones and 100 handcrafted products. If you need a gift or something special for yourself, use the promo code in the description, find something you love, and buy it today. Now back to the video. If you like spending money and looking your best, then visit my store. But if you hate looking good and you hate me, yourself, just subscribe. That is free. All right, refocus. It's B tier. 50 to 60 over-under receiving yards for week 4. And it's A.J. Brown at 17. 58 over-under, 48 yards per game at Tampa Bay, who are just below league average at defending the pass. I know, it's only been one game, but we're not talking about Tutu Atwell, okay? Sorry, Tutu. It's Swole Batman, all right? 8 targets week 2, but still awful yards. 10 targets and 109 yards this last week. Rejoice. Praise be to the Eagle gods. Keep throwing the ball, Jalen. QJ is next at 18, and we'll go Myers at 19 and Cortland Sutton at 20. Quentin Johnson, 55 over-under, 79 yards per game, and 1 tutty per game at the Giants, 28th worst. Jacoby Myers, 66 over-under, 76 yards per game versus Chicago's 27th worst. And Cortland Sutton, 61 over-under, 61 yards per game. And he scores a tutty 70% of the time, facing the Bengals, 25th worst. They all have great matchups and are either heavy favorites, wideout one for their team, or in one of the highest scoring games of the week. So not bad. We like all of this. We'll take it. This is good. Very good. 21. Tyreek Hill, 60 over-under, 66 yards per game. Is he back? Does he get the A.J. Brown treatment? Kinda. Same story. 6 targets, 7, 10 targets, 1 100-yard game. I mean, his matchup is okay. Miami's slated to win. It's on prime time, so we're either going to see one of the best plays of the week from one of the best wideouts remaining in the league, or to turn the ball over. Next, we'll go George Pickens, Brian Thomas Jr., and Deebo Samuel at 22, 23, and 24. George Pickens, 57 over-under, 55 yards per game against Green Bay's 7th best. Brian Thomas Jr., 64 over-under, 41 yards per game at San Fran's 5th best. Deebo Samuel, 45 over-under, 56 yards per game at Atlanta's number 1 secondary. I mean, Deebo and Pickens, they score, so that's good at least. Thomas has produced the least, but they all have. And they all have bad matchups with average or low game totals as struggling offenses. I know. It turned quickly here. Which brings us to C tier, and it's the rest of the wideouts that between tough matchups or being second, third look are only projected for about 40 to 50 receiving yards. And at 25, it's Keenan Allen. And Michael Pittman Jr. to start the tier at 26. Keenan Allen, 49 over-under, 64 yards per game 1 tutty per game. MPJ, 49 over under, 64 yards per game. He scores 70% of the time. So pretty similar. Allen easily gets the front, though, with his matchup against the Giants, while MPJ gets the much more difficult Rams secondary to deal with. But these two have produced more than the other guys. They take the top of seats here. And next, we'll go MHJ, DJ Moore, and Devonta Smith. Marvin Harrison Jr., 46 over under, 47 yards per game against Seattle's 20th worst. DJ Moore, 48 over under, 50 yards per game at the Raiders' 24th worst. And Devonta Smith, 49 over under, 43 yards per game at Tampa Bay's 19th worst. So not bad, even though these guys are struggling for targets and yards. They have pretty decent matchups as second looks. All things considered, it's 50 yards that we're talking about here, and they should be able to get that done. And at 30, Chris Olave. DK Metcalf at 31, and J-Mo at 32. Chris Olave, 61 over under, 55 yards per game. At Buffalo's second best. Not good. DK Metcalf, 50 over under, 45 yards per game versus Minnesota's third best. Also not good. And Jameson Williams, 38 over under, 59 yards per game versus Cleveland's fourth best. Not good at all. Even worse, J-Mo gets like half the targets as the other two. So all three of them have tough matchups. They are not in prime position to score fantasy points. But you know what's worse? D tier. It's the rest, and it's less than 40 yards. Don't start Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, T. Higgins, Khalil Shakir, Calvin Ridley, Cedric Tillman, Addison. Recap. That's your top 40. I hope I helped. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, and see all the videos each week before submitting your lineups. It's free, so it's a good value. Ask me a question down in the comments, and if you like spending money and looking your best, use the promo code and spend it in my store. And watch some more videos!